All right, welcome back, COSA 1, second 8 weeks. Professor Almeida here. Happy Thursday, everyone. And because it is Thursday, that means I'm in the Canvas course chat until noon Pacific time for student office hours. So feel free to drop into the chat if you have questions about the course or the material. Do keep in mind that the chat is public. You can also message me privately through the Canvas inbox. Coming up, I want to talk to you about the game plan for week 2, which is already open and available to you. But first, I do have some housekeeping items, especially since you have 3 assignments due tomorrow night. So let's get right to it. Hopefully by now you've had a chance to settle into the class. And for the second 8 weeks, I do have 2 COSA 1 sections, 73314, that's my Monday, Wednesday, 8 a.m. class, and then 73326, that's my online asynchronous. Monday, Wednesday, folks, yesterday we went over Office Essential Skills. You saw how quickly we can complete those training sims. And then 73326, hopefully you've had a chance to settle in by now. And like I said, because it is Thursday, I am in the Canvas course chat for student office hours from 9 a.m. until noon. Here's the Canvas course chat for both COSA 1s. Do keep in mind that the chat is public, so if you need to say something to me privately, send me a message through the Canvas inbox. And if you do need to see me in person, Mondays 1:30 to 3:30 p.m., you'll find me in M229. That is the COS Computer Lab. Hopefully you've had a chance to settle in by now, especially with SimNet. Follow this link to the left here if you haven't registered for SimNet. And once you have registered, the easiest way to pay for access is directly here in SimNet for about $57 plus tax. If you go to the bookstore for an access card, it's about $78 and some change. You scratch off the code, you enter it here, and then your last option is the 14-day courtesy access if for some reason you are unable to pay for access at this time. The 14-day courtesy access gives you enough time to get through week 2. And you'll find all that information here along with how to contact McGraw-Hill by going to the SimNet information page, and that can be found right here. All right, so you do have 3 assignments due tomorrow night, and we'll go ahead and scroll down. So you have your Windows 11 training, your Office Essential Skills training, and then finally your Windows and Essential Skills quiz. Now on Monday, the AWS outage affected Canvas for half the day. So for my Monday, Wednesday folks, we went old school. We went over the paper copies of the syllabus. I showed you a primer on how to use Windows 11. And then yesterday in class, you finally had the chance to register with SimNet, and we went over Office Essential Skills training. And as you'll see with these 2 training sims, they shouldn't take a whole lot of your time. They are due tomorrow night along with your quiz. The 2 training sims are a participation requirement for everyone in the class. I need to make sure that you really want to be in COSA 1. For my Monday, Wednesday folks, it's not enough to just show up. I need to see that you really are interested in the class. And then for my online folks, I do have a wait list for that section, and there are people who want to get in. So I need to make sure that you really are interested. If you don't turn in your training sims on time, and do remember that your training sims do have to be completed on time, it's the easiest 100% to get, and you don't want to be leaving easy points on the table. So both training sims have to be turned in on time. If you don't do that, unfortunately, you will be dropped. I'll just assume that you're no longer interested. And this is especially important for the online folks because, like I said, I do have a wait list. So if you want to be in the class, make sure you get your 2 training sims turned in on time. Now, you also have a quiz covering Windows and Office Essential Skills. Let me show you how the quiz works. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and launch the quiz, and then we'll come back to this in a second here. So here's the quiz, and this is what the assignment's going to look like. And you'll see that you have 10 questions. You do get 2 attempts at the quiz, and your final grade on the quiz will be the better of the 2 attempts. The quiz isn't timed. You just need to make sure you get it turned in on time. And once you block blocked out enough time to take the quiz and be able to answer 10 questions, you can go ahead and click Take Exam. And you'll see this title screen here. And the complete by date, this is when the assignment locks. Okay, the due date is tomorrow night on the 24th, but you can turn in the quiz late for partial credit, and I will accept late quizzes right up until November 3rd at 11:59 p.m. The quiz is not timed. You do get 3 attempts per simulation question. It's a lot like the Let Me Try Sims. Attempts per non-simulation question, 1. Those are your multiple choice, true, false type of questions. You must complete this exam attempt in one sitting. If you exit or leave, it will automatically be submitted. And once you check this box, you can't say you didn't know. So this is what it looks like. Close the Microsoft Word app, and it's not like Let Me Try where you can just make whatever mistake you want. You know, you do have to answer the question correctly. You also cannot get any hints, and you can see that I'm down to 2 attempts remaining. So I'll go ahead and close the app, and it's going to move me to the next question here. Now, once you get to question 10, if you keep hitting the right arrow, you're going to end up cycling back through. So you could toggle the question list and see where you're at. And in this case, these are all simulation-based questions, but you might see multiple choice, true, false type of questions where you only get 1 attempt. So once you get to answering all 10 questions, you can go ahead and submit. And remember, do not reload or hit the back button. Otherwise, this is going to end up happening, and you're going to lose all of your attempts. And I'm not going to reset anything for you. Okay, so you've been warned on that. All right, so that is the quiz. I wish you all the best of luck on that. And let's get into week 2. Week 2 is already open and available to you. Remember that Canvas weekly modules open 2 weeks at a time. So, starting next week for my Monday, Wednesday folks, when you come into class on Monday, we are going to walk through Skill Review 1.1 together in class. Word Chapter 1 is on getting started with Word. Be sure to take a look at the Microsoft Word overview page here on what we are doing. You'll also see the skills that you're going to be learning along with your action items. I'll tell you more about checking in a moment. So Monday, Wednesday, folks, we'll go over Skill Review 1.1. Please come to class on time. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to figure out what we're doing if you're coming into class late. And then in your downtime, you'll work on your Chapter 1 training. Wednesday, same formula, SR 2.1 on formatting text, and then you'll work on Chapter 2 training and your quiz in your downtime. Online, folks, because there's no class meetings, all you have to do is just go through the assignments. And if it seems like there's a lot, again, block out some time so that you can knock out an assignment here or there. So that's pretty much the game plan. And if you are working from home, you need to have Microsoft Word or Microsoft 365 installed on your system. You can see that I have my Windows system up and running here. And Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Access are installed. We're not using Access in COSA 1, but you might be taking a COS class that uses Access, so it wouldn't hurt to have Microsoft 365 installed. Here's how to do it. Once you are in your Viking portal, go to Microsoft 365. You're going to log in with your student ID number at lbcc.edu. It's going to look like an email address. Check the syllabus for detailed instructions, but it's going to look like an email address. And from there, you go into your Viking portal. Once you see the Copilot dashboard, that's this right here, you want to go to Apps. And then from there, install apps, Microsoft 365 apps. And then once this loads, you're going to choose Install Office. The installer is going to download to your computer. Follow the prompts to complete the installation. And again, this is if you are working on projects at home. If you are coming to class or using the COS Computer Labs, obviously Microsoft 365 is already installed and there's nothing you need to do. If you are using a Mac, Macs are not supported in the class, and especially Chromebooks. You need to get your hands on a Windows PC. And if you don't have access to Windows, really quick, let me tell you about your support options. You can go into the COS Computer Labs to work on your assignments. Here are the hours. If you scroll further down, you'll be able to contact our instructional assistants. Now, if you're having issues with logging into the Viking portal or installing Microsoft 365, reach out to the Student Tech Help Desk. All right, so back to the module here. Now that you've seen how to install Microsoft 365, I do have walkthrough videos available. You can go and watch and see how the projects work from start to finish. One last thing is the success check-in. Now, by the end of week 2, chances are that your 14-day courtesy access to SimNet will expire and you will need to purchase access to SimNet. I want you to check in with me and let me know if you have access to SimNet and that you either have or will be purchasing access to SimNet. And by doing that, you will unlock week 3 when Monday, November 3rd rolls around. Now, if you don't check in with me, week 3 is going to stay grayed out until you go to the Success Check-in. The Success Check-in forum is going to close Sunday night, November 2nd. So make sure that you participate and you check in with me. You let me know where you're at. And one last thing, if you need to get tutoring for this class, let me show you how to do that, because the COS tech support, they are not your personal tutors. Fortunately, there is tutoring available. Let me show you before I end this video. So if you go to the campus resources page or the second page of your syllabus, one of the links you'll see is MDSC tutoring. And if you click on the button here to the schedule, you'll see when COSA 1 tutors are available. So if we scroll down here for LAC, you'll see there are COSA 1 tutors available at LAC. If you would rather meet a tutor online, here's the schedule for COSA 1. And then finally, if you're closer to TTC or if that's more convenient, there is a COSA 1 tutor available. Do check out the policies and procedures because that's through MDSC, that's not us. And then finally, one last tip for the online folks, make sure you go through these resources. And with that, enjoy the rest of your week. Let's make sure that we get our assignments turned in on time by tomorrow. And with that, take care of yourselves out there. Good luck, and I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.